Tonight on CTV, a look into the hands-off protest in Denver.
Learn more about the shooting which occurred this past weekend at Foothills Mall.
Then take a look at the ACT Film Festival, which took place right here in Fort Collins.
All this and more tonight on CTV.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Gabriele Hibbitts.
And I'm Madison Szpunar. Mass protests swept the U.S. this weekend as over 1,000 hands-off rallies took place in all 50 states, including the Denver Capitol, where thousands of citizens shared their frustration and voiced their opinions. Tens of thousands marched in cities like New York, Chicago, Atlanta, and D.C., with international demonstrations also held in London, Paris, and Berlin. The protesters were organized by a broad coalition of civil rights groups and unions, along with activists, including the Party for Socialism and Liberation, who were all in attendance to reach similar demands. Citizens at the protest called for an end to government corruption, protection of social programs, and support for immigrants and transgender communities.
And wanting to fight back against, so many different things. Palestinian liberation, trans rights, immigration rights, and they're all connected. I think marches like this really show how these struggles are won.
Among the key concerns was immigration policy. Protesters spoke out against recent reports that over 300 international students have had their F-1 visas revoked under the current administration. The F-1 visa allows international students to study at educational institutions in the U.S., such as college universities or language training programs for temporary periods of time. As of Tuesday, 22 students from CSU and CU Boulder have had their visas revoked due to involvement of pro-Palestinian speech and/or activism. Advocates say revoked visas represent a threat to legal immigrants' rights, as well as people who've been voices for the community.
In Colorado, students' visas have been revoked. I think 9 students at CU and CSU for being pro-Palestine, we think. And similarly, there is a immigrant rights leader, a prominent activist named Jeanette Husquera here in Colorado, who was targeted and imprisoned. She's being unjustly held at the Aurora Geo-ICE detention facility.
In Denver, large crowds also gathered to call for a peaceful end to the conflict between Israel and Palestine, which has been going on for as long as a century. Starting in 1948 and continuing to the recent Israel and Hamas war that began in October of 2023. In response to these protests, the White House released a statement. According to the Associated Press, the statement reads, "President Trump's position is clear. He will always protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid for eligible beneficiaries. Meanwhile, the Democrats' stance is giving Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare benefits to illegal aliens, which will bankrupt these programs and crush American seniors." Protesters expressed concerns about free speech and influence from wealthy figures such as Elon Musk. Many protesters expressed their feelings and frustrations with signs and chants throughout the afternoon. While the impact of Saturday's protest remains to be seen, the event's large turnout suggests growing political engagement across the country, with many protesters saying they are hopeful for the future of the United States.
On Monday night, a motorcyclist died in a crash in Fort Collins. Fort Collins police services were notified of a serious crash at 7 in the evening at the intersection of South Timberline Road and Bighorn Drive. According to investigators, a woman driving a 2018 Hyundai Tucson was going northbound on South Timberline Road, and the rider on a 2023 Yamaha motorcycle was going southbound. Fort Collins police say that the crash occurred when the Hyundai made a left turn to go westbound on Bighorn Drive. The adult male motorcycle rider was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries and was later pronounced dead. The Fort Collins police crash team urges the public to be aware of the increase of motorcycles on the roads as the weather gets warmer, and asks that all road users adhere to traffic laws and speed limits. Police are still investigating what other factors may have led to the crash. Anyone with additional information is encouraged to call Community Service Officer Jacob Haas at 970-221-6540.
The 2 men who were shot and killed at Foothills Mall have been identified. 27-year-old Louis Arreguin of Westminster and 37-year-old Ivan Grimaldo of Greeley both succumbed to their injuries from multiple gunshot wounds. The shooting happened around 5 in the evening on a sidewalk between the parking lot and mall building. Police arrested a juvenile male suspect the next day. A judge has ordered the teen to remain in custody while the district attorney decides if charges will be filed in juvenile or adult court. Police say the shooting may have been gang-related but have yet to publicly confirm that information. Arreguin and Grimaldo were confirmed to be brothers through a GoFundMe created for the families. Both had criminal histories and were on parole at the time of the shooting. Police are asking anyone with information to reach out to Larimer County Crime Stoppers at 970-480-7250.
We now have the results for the ASCSU presidential election. For CSU's 2025 student body president, Jake Nunley will be placed in the presidential seat, being accompanied by new Vice President Joseph Godshall. Candidate Brooklyn Reese has also been named Speaker of the Senate for ASCSU. It is no surprise these candidates are taking charge as they ran uncontested after the other candidates dropped out of the race. This student leadership team is now preparing to represent the voice of CSU's student body for the upcoming year. Now we will head over to Lena with the weather.
Hi Rams, my name's Lena Juhlin, here to bring you this week's weather. For our current conditions, it's 63 degrees outside. Sunset was at 7:34 p.m. and we have 25% humidity and 9-mile-per-hour winds. This week we've had a lot of that warm temperature with some low humidity and windy days. Due to this, the National Weather Service has issued a hazardous weather outlook for potential fires in Colorado. However, it's not all bad. It's brought a lot of animals out of hibernation. It's warmed up those waters at Horsetooth. It's caused a lot of the outdoor vendors around town to get more foot traffic, and for those farmers and gardeners out there, they can start planting even earlier. For our overnight lows, you can expect some warmer temperatures along the I-25 corridor, right around that 40-degree range, with Denver being at 41 and Fort Collins being at 37. For the Eastern Plains, it will be a bit cooler, with Sterling and Burlington being at 34 and Lyman with 32. Looking at the western slopes, Craig will be our lowest at 29. For tomorrow's forecast, you can expect some warmer temperatures as well, with that high being 83 degrees and a low of 44. Sunset will be at 7:35 p.m. and we'll have 23% humidity with 8-mile-per-hour winds. Looking at our 5-day forecast, that warm weather will continue through Saturday with that high being 87. Later in the week, though, you can expect those temperatures to drop down, with Monday being a high of 58 and then coming back up with some clear skies on Tuesday and the high temperature on Wednesday being 75. That's all we have for weather, but stick around after the break for more news.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
The organization People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, otherwise known as PETA, conducted a 6-month undercover investigation to look into the unethical practices of a research facility in Fort Collins that tests drugs and other products on dogs, cats, and rats. After discovering the alleged inhumane treatment of animals in the facility, PETA posted a video and an article on their website, along with a petition urging people to stand up for the animals in their facility. Viewer discretion is advised, as some of the footage may be disturbing. PETA states that high-quality research facility denied dogs pain relief after mutilating their vocal cords in a crude attempt to quiet their barking. Dogs and cats were suffering from severe open wounds, inflamed skin, and eye conditions, and dogs and cats as old as 14 years were indefinitely warehoused, keeping them on hand as mere commodities. Pre-vet student Rada Sant explains that animal testing inflicts unnecessary pain, as there are many ethical alternatives.
I personally believe that animal testing is a cruel thing to do, and there's other ways that you can do the same testings. There's various ways such as in vitro testings, like you take a certain tissue or a cell sample and you do the testings on those tissues or the cell samples, and it gives you the same result as any other animal testing, but it's obviously not on a live being. There's also now computer modelings, and you can basically program how the heart works and maybe do a testing on the heart, but digitally. So you don't actually have to do it on an animal.
CSU veterinary researchers have stated that they are not involved with the facility and have high ethical standards for research. Still, the public is urged to sign the petition to help create a better future for these animals.
I think there's various ways to continue your research and still get better results, and I don't think that you should be abusing animals for that or use them for your own benefits, because at the end of the day, they are living beings too, and we should treat them just the way we treat other human beings.
Those who would like to sign the petition to help put an end to the animal testing at High Quality Research, or would like to further support the cause through donating to the organization, may do so on PETA's website.
President Donald Trump has announced tariffs on multiple countries across the globe. These include tariffs as high as 49% on some of the U.S.'s biggest economic allies, including Mexico, Canada, South Korea, Japan, the United Kingdom, and large parts of the European Union. The president also put tariffs on Heard and McDonald Island, territories uninhabited by humans. After this announcement, the U.S. stock market plummeted, losing over $5 trillion in market capitalization between April 2nd and 4th. On Monday, headlines stating that the Trump administration was considering a pause on the tariffs led to increased volatility in the market. This led to over $2.5 trillion in market cap appearing and disappearing through the course of a few days. This all came to a head on Wednesday, when the Trump administration made the decision to pause a majority of the tariffs for 90 days. However, that pause doesn't apply to tariffs on China. In response to President Trump's announcement on tariffs totaling to 104% on Chinese imports, China levied 34% and then 84% tariffs on the U.S. Because of this retaliation, President Trump raised the tariffs on China to 125% yesterday. After the pause was announced, the market rebounded, with the S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow rising 9%, 12%, and 7% respectively, the highest the market has risen in a single day in 24 years.
Carnaval de Puebla, an annual festival in Philadelphia dedicated to celebrating Mexican culture and history, has been canceled as organizers fear that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement may be present and might target attendees. ICE has detained thousands of people within the past few months and has even used aggressive methods to deport people, such as the Alien Enemies Act, a law that allows the president to imprison and deport non-citizens in times of war. El Carnaval de Puebla has been held in April for the past 18 years and had a turnout of around 15,000 people from both the U.S. and Mexico in 2024. However, the organizer of the event, Olga Renteria, says the community, quote, does not feel safe, unquote, to participate in the event this year. Renteria says that organizers are considering a smaller event for the community to celebrate, but details have not been decided. Renteria says that in the meantime, those who plan to come to the festival should still visit Philadelphia and its many Mexican businesses.
On Monday, the Supreme Court temporarily paused a court-imposed deadline to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the U.S. Garcia is being held in a Salvadoran prison after being deported due to an administrative error. Despite the fact that the government has acknowledged their error, the Trump administration maintains that they cannot bring him back. Garcia has no criminal record and was detained and deported despite a court order preventing his removal to El Salvador due to the threat to his safety posed by local gangs, which was the original reason he decided to flee the country. But stay tuned, we will be back with more news after this break.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Hi Rams, welcome back. I'm Payton Barill, and for tonight's sports news, we'll take a look at the women's tennis team as they prepare for their senior match against Air Force happening tomorrow. Before the Rams take their home court one final time, I got the chance to talk to seniors to reflect on their journeys and see what it means to wear green and gold. Let's take a look.
Senior Sarah Weekly joined the team in her freshman year. The season was unusual due to COVID, but Weekly's progressive record has shown her improvement as a player.
I think just confidence has been the biggest change in my game. I mean, from when I was a freshman to now, I'm just way more confident, even just walking onto the court. Coming here, I was pretty timid and, just nervous walking around anywhere. And I think I've just grown as a person. I have to be more forced to be more independent.
Weekly plays in both the #1 singles and #1 doubles position with partner Victoria Arenchenko. After an injury last season, Arenchenko was paired with Weekly for a tournament that ended up being the start of their successful run as doubles partners.
I think we clicked really well because we had no expectations. I think because we were both very open to that, it ended up clicking that fast. I think usually it takes longer for teams to build that kind of chemistry.
In the #2 doubles and singles position is Victoria Zadinska. Her distinct playing style is what elevates her competition and makes her such an assertive player.
I love to play aggressive and come to the net. That's just my style. It's been like this for years. I feel really comfortable at the net, and I just like to attack.
The seniors have gained lessons both on and off the court and hope that younger athletes will have positive takeaways from their leadership and presence on the team.
My biggest lesson is just go out there, fight, and enjoy. Thank you everyone who've been supporting us throughout the year. We have amazing tennis community.
As the tennis season winds down, the seniors will get ready to start a new chapter, but will no doubt leave a positive impression on the team and its younger players. Their match will take place at 3 in the afternoon tomorrow at the CSU Tennis Complex. That's all for sports news tonight, but stay tuned for more from our technical difficulties tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned because we'll have more from our deck.
Thanks, Peyton. Good evening, Rams. I'm Gigi Berg. Every April, Fort Collins hosts filmmakers, activists, and community members from across the globe to share powerful stories and discuss important social issues at the ACT Human Rights Film Festival.
Did you know that Fort Collins is home to its very own film festival? Every April, the ACT Human Rights Film Festival brings filmmakers, activists, students, and community members together, all while fostering a space for discussion around social justice and human rights issues, right here at the Lyric in Fort Collins.
there is a lot going on in the world. We are very similar and very different at the same time, and human rights are at the very core of a democratic society. So uplifting human rights in times of trouble, in times of wars, and trying to connect people for the values of peace and community-inspired human rights film festivals, including ACT.
So, what does ACT stand for? ACT's mission is to A, awaken audiences to issues happening around the world, C, connect them to filmmakers and each other in thoughtful conversations, and T, transform the ways in which audiences engage with people, communities, cultures, and ideas. Each film is carefully selected to highlight important global issues, from climate change, social problems, freedom of expression, and more. But the festival doesn't just show films. It builds community with post-screening discussions, panels, and local workshops that turn awareness into impact.
From the very beginning, we had something that we've called the Call to Act program. This is really an innovation of one of the first staff members of the festival, Carol Bush. And the Call to Act program has always been designed to find local community organizations that work on issues that are related in some way or another to the content or the problem the film is addressing. And so, for example, last night when we showed a film about democracy activists in Hong Kong, we had the Larimer County League of Women Voters here, and obviously they're for over 100 years they've been advocating for engagement in the democratic processes. So that really is one central piece, that connection between the films and the call to act, so that the people who come to the film have some particular place to go.
At the heart of the festival are the filmmakers, each one bringing a unique voice, vision, and purpose to the screen. Through their storytelling, they aim not just to inform, but to inspire action.
It really is a special thing because, I mean, not only in terms of the mission, but the audience, the people who come, I think that they may appreciate the impact side of the film in a way that other audiences might not. So even some of the questions are really excellent, and people want to help. So to be in a community of people who are dedicated not just to human rights, but film and human rights and how those two things interact, which is something that I'm extremely interested in as well. I think that there's no better place to show a film like this.
For CTV 11, I'm Gigi Berg.
If you or anyone you know is passionate about activism, movies, or you just want to see some amazing independent films, ACT is the place for you.
Good evening, Rams. My name is Tate Paisley, your feature reporter tonight. Students looking for a way to de-stress this week found comfort in a unique form of therapy: dogs. The CSU Library, Health Network, and HABIC team teamed up to host a special event centered around wellness and wags.
I don't want to go in. Oh no, just call me.
Feeling overwhelmed? CSU has a perfect solution. Once a month, the Wolves and Wellness event takes over the library, giving students a chance to trade stress for snuggles, all thanks to some four-legged friends.
All right, in my eyes, I can't not smile when I'm around a dog, right? And I don't know. It's just something about their free little faces.
A partnership between the CSU Library, Health Network, and HABIC, or Human-Animal Bond in Colorado, this event helps students feel more at home, especially when missing pets of their own.
We know a lot of students here on campus sometimes had to leave their pets at home, and that's stressful as well. And so we just thought it'll be great to have that opportunity.
And it's not just the students who are loving it. I even caught up with one of the stars of the show, Rosie the therapy dog. Rosie, what are your thoughts on the Wolves and Wellness event? Are you enjoying it? Thank you for your comment. Monica Latham, one of the event's organizers, says the event didn't always attract big crowds, but all it took was encouragement and a few wet noses to get people involved.
When we first started, students come by and they're like, is this for a specific event? And no, you are the event. Come in. It's not for a specific group. You see, anybody can come at any time.
Now, Wolves and Wellness has become a monthly tradition, one that brings the campus community together in the most heartwarming way possible. For students juggling papers, projects, and pressure, this event proves sometimes the best therapy has fur, floppy ears, and a whole lot of love. With tails wagging and students smiling, this event brought a moment of calm to campus life. reminding everyone that sometimes a little dog love goes a long way. Now, I don't know about you, Gigi, but Rosie gave some strong statements in that interview.
Absolutely. Everything she said was just so impactful for me. I really am still thinking about it right now.
It might be my own opinion, but I fully support every statement that she made.
I don't think we're allowed to say that on air.
I might vote for her for president. But, well, Rams, we could stay here and talk about our furry buddies all night, but that is all the time we have for you.
Make sure you tune in next week to CTV's Sports Show. We'll see you then.